Hi, and welcome to Being Broke Isn't Cute. I am your financial empowerment coach, Teresa. We're here to talk about pandemic planning, so let's get started. All right, first things first. We've got to determine how much debt we're actually in. And this is going to require full disclosure, honest and transparent, full disclosure with yourself. So what I'm asking you to do is to make a list. You're going to list the creditor name, the interest rate you're paying, the minimum monthly payment, not necessarily the payment that you are making, but the minimum payment required by the creditor each month, and the total balance remaining on the loan. I want you to list all of those. And once you've listed all of them, I want you to calculate the total minimum monthly payment for all of your debts and the total balance remaining on all of your loans. That's going to give you how much money you're required to put toward debt each month and give you a visualization of the amount of debt you're in. You may be, happily surprised or not so happily surprised by that number. Then I want you to ask yourself, these three questions. Looking at the minimum monthly payment, can you comfortably make that debt payment each month? Question number 2. Can you stop creating more debt each month? This is very important. Can you quit digging the hole? And number 3, can you reroute income, or can you come up with additional income to pay off your debt faster? The process of debt repayment, debt elimination, it's simple, but don't mistake that as it also being necessarily easy. Let's go to the next step. Getting out of debt is easier than staying out of debt. Getting out of debt is this huge push, this huge effort, and there's an end date because eventually you pay off the debt. Then you're done. Staying out of debt is a complete change in your mindset because you have to look at credit differently. You have to make different decisions. You may have to go to a cash-only basis. You're going to have to change your spending habits. You may have to save up for purchases. And this is something that you'll have to maintain basically for the rest of your life. So let me ask you again. Do you really want to get out of debt? Because if you don't, what you'll do is that you'll make this huge push, this huge effort. You'll put all this work in, pay off the debt, and then 6 months down the road, a year down the road, 5 years down the road, you'll find yourself in as much debt or possibly more than you were before. So I want you to sit and think for a moment. Do you really want to be debt-free? And this is very important. Are you willing to make the changes in your mindset and lifestyle to maintain it? Okay? If you're still on board, let's move forward. All right, you're still with me. That's a good sign. I have 2 debt repayment strategies to share with you. One is called an avalanche and the other is called a snowball. Now with the avalanche method, you're going to take the list that you created earlier and you're going to relist your creditors based on the interest rate. And the highest interest rate debt goes first and you work your way down to the lowest interest rate. And what you do is you take the extra money that you have to apply toward debt elimination and you put it all toward that first creditor. That means, and that's going to be the one with the highest interest rate. And you're going to pay that extra payment on that debt until you pay it off. And then you're going to take all that money, the extra money, the minimum pay plus the payment, and you're going to apply it to the next highest interest rate loan. And you're going to keep working your way down, working your way down, working your way down till you pay everything off. Now, the pros to this is that with you tackling the highest interest rate loans first, you usually end up paying less money overall. Now, a downside to this, or what could be a downside to this, is if your highest interest rate debt or debts have huge balances on them, it might take a while for you to actually pay off a debt and feel like you're actually doing something with this program. And that can be a little unmotivating. So if you want something different, you can use the snowball method. So for the snowball method, you list all of your debts based on the total balance due, and you go from smallest to the largest. Then you take your extra money and you apply it towards your smallest debt. You apply that until you pay that one off, and of course making the minimum payments on the rest of your debts. You're not going to get behind on anything. You pay off that debt, you move on to the next smallest, and then you keep moving, and you roll all of that money over. You're still putting out the same amount of money for your debts, and you roll all of that money over until you finally pay off everything. Now, one of the one of the pros to this is that you're knocking off those little debts first. So you got this motivation like, yeah, I can do this, I'm doing this, so that when you get to the big ones, first of all, you're putting a lot more money toward them, and you've already had all these little victories. So like, I'm doing this, I've got this, I'm putting the work in. So you have to pick the one that's right for your financial situation. Some people, they want to tackle the highest, they want to save the money, so they're tackling the highest interest rate first so they can save money overall. Some people need those little victories, so they do the snowball method in order to have the small victories and to stay motivated. It's up to you. Do you want an avalanche or do you want a snowball? So the main point I would like for you to take from this episode is to decide if you truly want to be debt-free or if you want to just manage your debt better. There is a difference. How you decide determines your debt path, your debt strategy, and your debt mindset. If you need it, I have a worksheet for this episode, and it can be found on my website. There's a link to my website in the description box below. Click that link and it'll take you to my website where you can get the worksheet, and it'll go through the whole process that we just talked about. You can print it out, write out your thoughts, and all that kind of good stuff. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you missed any of the episodes, check the description box below. Links will be there as they become available. Join me next week for part 3, where we're going to discuss spending habits. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, you can join me over on Facebook, or you can contact me directly via my website on the contact page, and I will see you next week. Stay safe.